the cost to create one Dior handbag was something crazy like 53 euros or 57 US dollars, which is insane. In this video, we're going to be talking about some rather controversial topics. We all know that greed is a very, very bad and evil thing. There's really no other way to put it, but luxury brands got greedy. They didn't like that a big chunk of the middle class were buying their products, and so they decided to weed them out by increasing the prices. But now look at where they are. No one is buying luxury anymore, or at least not how they used to.
This is a $7,000 Chanel bag. Tell me why this fell off and this part that holds it in fell off.
We can see it in Hermes share prices, which were seen to be as invincible, LVMH and Burberry being kicked out of the FTSE 100. I mean, it's very safe to say that the luxury industry is not doing as well as it once did. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Mariam, and on this channel we talk about all things fashion and lifestyle. Today's video is a very interesting topic. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already. And now let's get straight into the video. I think we can all agree that there's been a sort of shift in the luxury industry recently. By recently, I mean in the last 5-ish years, which is basically when the pandemic hit. We're almost in 2025, which is insane. The luxury industry has been increasing their prices for a long time, even pre-COVID, but we all felt a significant shift during COVID, where Chanel, all your brands, Dior, Hermes, everyone seemed to have been increasing their prices at extortionate amounts. I mean, look at this graph here of Chanel. It's insane. Their price points went from expensive to really, really expensive, almost competing with Hermes. And today, present day in 2024, the price difference between an Hermes bag and a Chanel classic flap is pretty much non-existent. So it was obvious that brands were increasing their prices, and also there were a lot of claims by luxury consumers that the quality as well was dwindling. I mean, just recently, a couple months ago, Dior was caught in a scandal where they found out that the cost of producing their bags were about 57 US dollars or 53 euros, and they sell their bags for an insane amount. I mean, that there was a scandal. And Chanel as well were having claims. I mean, nothing was discovered in terms of like the cost of creating their goods, but customers around the world were claiming that they were having chain issues. The leather was lackluster. It didn't really have that look and feel to it as it should.
This is a $7,000 Chanel bag. Tell me why this fell off and this part that holds it in fell off.
The hardware quality wasn't as good, with it tarnishing soon and scratching. I mean, there were a lot of complaints around the world. It was just so interesting to see that at the same time when brands were increasing their prices, i.e. Chanel, people were experiencing lower quality goods. I personally bought my first Chanel bag around that time as well in 2021. I haven't had that kind of issue. My bag looks perfect. I've never had any issues with quality, etc. But I mean, I'm not a seasoned Chanel client. I don't buy from them all the time. So potentially it's possible that the quality right now is not as how it used to be. I mean, it's very clear that there have been price increases and a potential decrease in quality, but let's talk about why we're here and how we got here. And to talk about that, to get there, we need to first talk about what COVID did to the luxury industry. At the start of the pandemic, like every other industry, the luxury industry as well was not feeling super confident, because the way things were during COVID, no one really was going out. We weren't allowed to go out. You couldn't socialize, you couldn't travel. So like buying luxury didn't seem like it was going to be possible, because the big chunk about buying luxury is about the in-person, the in-store experience. And while you can buy it online, many people do enjoy the in-store experience. I mean, one of the USP of luxury brands is like their in-store experience, and that was basically taken away from them during COVID. And a large chunk of the luxury industry is consumed by the middle class. I mean, do not underestimate how much the middle class loves to enjoy luxury goods. Obviously, you have the ultra rich who love buying luxury, but the middle class is that group of people who literally will save up every year and at the end of the year treat themselves to something luxurious, or maybe like at a major life event like a graduation, the birth of their child. I mean, initially during during the pandemic, there was worry in the air, like, you know, whether to spend your money on luxury, whether to do XYZ. I mean, it was just an uncertain time. It makes sense, but it didn't take long for people to start doing something called revenge buying. We weren't able to go outside, we weren't able to socialize with our friends. A lot of people were in furlough, and when you're in furlough, you're still getting paid your wages, up to 80% of your wages, and you don't necessarily have to work, so like your days are pretty much vanilla. Essentially, people had more money to spend because they weren't going out socializing or going to restaurants. And so whenever countries would ease lockdown restrictions, people would kind of go crazy, like queuing outside luxury stores. Like this year in China, Hermes, literally there was a massive queue outside there just to buy stuff in the form of revenge buying, because people just felt so cooped up. They couldn't do anything, so at the moment they could, they just went crazy. Hermes stocks were literally hitting highs. Well, I mean, luxury brands weren't being as hit as you thought they'd be during lockdown. People were still buying. Which brings us to our second point, the price increase that followed. So essentially what was happening in the luxury sphere is that a lot more people were able to buy their goods, and a lot more people were more inclined to buy their goods because, you know, it was kind of like the only way to get that dopamine hit. And the thing about the luxury industry is that they pride themselves on their exclusivity, on their ability to remain exclusive, and it's not possible to remain exclusive when your product is with more people than ever. Luxury brands were aware that their products were starting to become too popular in a way that they were being sold a bit too much. It essentially goes against what luxury brands strive to be, which is exclusive. You want to look at a luxury bag and feel that exclusivity when you look at it, but if you see it too many times, it's natural to lose that level of exclusivity that it once had. So in the attempt to combat this, luxury brands essentially ramped up their prices, and they had multiple price increases in one year as well. I believe that year was 2021, could have been 2022 or 2020, but one of those years. And luxury brands did that for multiple reasons, and the number one reason, which is quite controversial, was to weed out the middle class, because luxury brands felt like the wrong sorts of people were buying their goods. There's really no other way to say it. Essentially, brands got super greedy during COVID, and they decided to weed out the middle class. And in a way, luxury brands thought that the middle class, I mean, whoever wants to buy will buy regardless of whatever the price is. I don't think their plan stood the test of time. I personally don't think so. And the reason for that, which brings me to our next point, is the dwindling quality. I mean, just recently we saw the Dior scandal where their handbags, the cost to create one Dior handbag was something crazy like 53 euros or 57 US dollars, which is insane. And they sell their bags for an extortionate amount. And also with the claims about Chanel, people claiming that their Chanel goods have been reducing in quality, a big chunk of the middle class, or a big chunk of people in general, just don't feel that pull toward luxury brands anymore, because with the allegation of the lower quality and with the extreme amount that they're charging now, it just doesn't seem worth it. And I personally agree as well. I mean, I do love buying my luxury goods. I don't think I will stop doing that. However, the way I've been buying my luxury goods have changed. It's just crazy to me because Hermes was always seen as that brand that was, you know, untouched by anything that's happening around the world. Like, they always seem to be that brand in the stock market that, you know, was always performing well and steadily, but to see that they're also not doing super well right now is so interesting to see, with the crime rates as well in London. I mean, I live in London and the crime rates right now are literally crazy. I've lived here for over 7 years and the crime rate right now is honestly the highest it's ever been, with your phone being snatched. I mean, people in general don't feel safe wearing their luxury goods out and about anyway, so I feel like that as well probably impacts their sales, because if people don't feel safe to wear it, why would they wear it and why would they buy it? There's just lots happening right now, which just leads us all to believe that the luxury industry is probably not doing its best. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I feel like this is such an interesting topic and I want to hear what you guys think. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!